What's up, Facebook? What's up, YouTube? It is Jasir Franklin, founder of Hill PTHD. After this broadcast, if you want more information about what we do at Hill PTHD, go to hillpthd.com and get the information. Get involved, get involved, get involved. All right. I want to welcome everybody to Reset Sundays. I am back doing it again. And it's been a journey since I last did one of these. I've done one of these, but I want to get them back out there. So we're going to get it going today. So welcome in, everybody. I appreciate you. If you appreciate the content that we're going to be producing, including today's session, please share this video with as many people as you possibly can. Go to the website and and become a member. Subscribe to the page here on YouTube or Facebook, and stay involved. Stay involved. All right. So today's Reset Sundays, we're going to talk about something that's should be near and dear to everybody's heart that comes from the hood, like myself. And I'm not, like I said, I'm not taking myself out of this equation. I'm guilty of it too at times. And I'll tell a story about how that played out for me before. But are you being disrespected or tested is the question today. Are you being disrespected or tested is the topic for today. So one of the most dangerous addictions many people from the hood or who were conditioned in the hood is the addiction of defending disrespect. You see it everywhere. You see it on social media, but you see it everywhere in your community. People from the hood have an infatuation with disrespect. Some people are willing to lose everything over one moment of so-called disrespect. They'll lose a job over somebody disrespecting them in the next cubicle. They'll lose a relationship over feeling disrespected. They'll lose a friendship over being disrespected. They'll lose a business opportunity even because somebody said or did something that made them feel disrespected. They'll lose a family bond, which you probably can never do because family is family until you die. They'll even risk their freedom because they felt disrespected. There are so many people in a prison right now, county jail, whatever you call it right now, because they were disrespected and they had to defend it. And the biggest one of all is they're even to risk their life. Some people are willing to die because they felt disrespected. Now, when you think about these things and being disrespected, is it really worth it? And they did this because, not necessarily because they were disrespected for the most part, but because something inside of them was already wounded before that moment even happened. Listen, when old wounds remain unhealed, life starts getting filtered through the trauma instead of wisdom. I'm going to say that again. When old wounds remain unhealed, life starts getting filtered through trauma instead of the wisdom. What does that mean? When those moments of disrespect happen, and if you haven't healed those things, you're reacting based upon traumas that created this disrespectful concept in your head. Now, wisdom will dispel that and say, hey, that's not worth it. Maybe they don't see me that way. Maybe they didn't mean to say it like that. Maybe they're just having a bad day. Maybe. Their wisdom looks for the possibility of solution. Disrespectful trauma looks for the trauma in it, the disrespect in it. It doesn't look for solution. If you like what I'm saying, if you like what I'm dropping, please, or putting down, please share, share, share. So that's why some people walk into every interaction emotionally armed. Like they come in with their detective shield on. They come in with their protective shield on. They come in defensive as I don't know what because of what they've experienced and gone through and seen. So they gotta walk into this thing looking for the piano to drop or looking for somebody to say something or do something or bump into them or give them the wrong look. You know, they're looking for these things. But they're not catching the right answers. Why is that? Well, we're going to dig into that. You see, that's why some people walk into every interaction emotionally armed and always ready to defend, always ready to react, always ready to prove they're not weak, and always ready to just simply crash out because underneath the reaction is usually something deeper. It's the feeling of humiliation, the feeling of abandonment issues, the feeling of powerlessness, the feeling of shame, the feeling of pain, the feeling of fear, even, and the feeling of old survival programs that no longer serve. But if you're in this disrespectful concept, then those programs do still serve because that's where you are, literally. Many people from the hood environments were taught a couple of different things, and let me know if this makes sense to you. Put a like in here if it makes sense to you. If you said this to yourself before, like if you don't react, you're weak. That's a concept in the hood that if you don't do something when somebody says or does something to you, particularly does something to you, then you're weak. Then you're weak. It's like not a thing. It's not a thing. Um, I need to pause for a hot second because I'm going to share this with other people real quick. Really, really quick, y'all. Hold on a second. Stay with me. I want to share this video with some other people so we can get busy. Add more people to the conversation. Let's see. Right there. All right, cool. So, y'all, coming back to this conversation here. Anybody in? No. I'm just talking right now. So we're going to do this really quick. I'm sorry. I apologize for those who watch this video later. But I want to make sure that everybody can see what I'm talking about. That's the point. I want to come in and copy them. Let's see what we got here. So it's crazy. Um, I'm going to start this back up in a hot second, everybody. Please bear with me. Please bear with the brother, okay? All right, somebody then came in. I wonder who that is, who that does, who that was. You just came in. Leave a comment in the chat for me. Let me know you're here. Tony Wayford, what's up, brother? All right. I'm going to continue in a hot second, y'all. I just want to make sure one of my links got crossed, so I had to change it. I want to get it back out to everybody else too that may want to come in and check it. All right, y'all, let's do this. So let's go. All right, let's get it back in. Enough is enough. So again, we're talking about, are you being disrespected or tested? Are you being disrespected or tested? Let's talk about it. So you are switching from Zoom. Okay, I'll answer all that later on. So let's get back into this. Where did I leave off? Okay, so I'm gonna come back up to this top here. We were talking about underneath people feeling disrespected, and the reason why they react to what they call so-called disrespect is usually something deeper. They usually have a feeling of humiliation, which is probably something from their childhood. You know, being humiliated in the hood back in the days is the number one mark that a person can have that would identify you as a weak link in the community and make people want to come back after you over and over again until you actually stand up to the bully. So that humiliation factor could be a thing. So now you're not going to be bullied. You're not going to be this person that was on the playground that you saw bullied before. Anything can happen with that, but now you feel like you got to protect yourself and defend yourself so you don't seem a certain way to other people. Humiliation, abandonment issues. I think that kind of speaks for itself, but abandonment issues are another one. If you feel abandoned by somebody, people react, crash out. If somebody left you before, you might crash out when you feel somebody's leaving you, and that person might just be going to the store and coming right back. You think they leaving forever, so you react and crash out on them. Come on, everybody's not the same, and your pain is not theirs. Powerlessness, feeling like you don't have the power, so you just crash out. I said this before, and I'm gonna say it again regarding powerlessness and this: are you being disrespected or tested? I said this before, and it's probably going to be an unpopular opinion, but please hear me out. Everybody probably remembers Sandra Bland, the lady who got pulled over in Texas, and that was the last day she was seen alive. Now, a lot of people crash out at traffic stops because they feel powerless. They don't know the law. These people have guns bigger than them, and they have a whole force that protects them. With that being said, I can understand how scary that moment is, especially with the history of the police with our community. But when we talk about people like Sandra Bland, she could still be alive if she didn't let her powerlessness feelings get in the way of how she could have handled that moment. She could have just easily given that man what he asked for, the paperwork, whatever he needed, taken the ticket, and drove on. The fight for a traffic ticket, by the way, is not in the street, it's in the courtroom. The cop just writes a ticket. He can't dismiss a ticket, he can't do nothing about it but write it. So if you know this, then just take the ticket. But she chose to get racial with him and be combative with him. Now, I'm not giving him justification for any of their actions thereafter. But could that have been prevented is the question. And to me, yes. Just take the ticket and move on. So don't crash out over something you don't really have the full scope of what's happening. It's either educate yourself or just move on, take the ticket and pay it. Hire a lawyer. There's options. But those moments that we know our relationship with those people, yeah, it's a better way to do that. So was she being disrespected or tested? I'll let you answer that. The fear of shame, being shamed by somebody, which is still in alignment with humiliation. The fear itself, being fearful of something, makes a person crash out. I remember one of my friends got shot from a guy who was just fearful. Long story short, I was in high school. One of my friends was going to summer school with me. And one of my other friends was going to summer school with me from my neighborhood. They didn't go to that school regularly. So one of my guys were talking to some girl at the school that was dating a guy that actually went to the school regularly. I won't say any names. Long story short, the guy gets wind of this, my friend talking to his girl. They get into a phone conversation over the phone, an argument over the phone. The next day, they come to school. My buddy brings a bunch of the other homies from the hood. So when they see him on the bus stop, they go towards him where they see it, where he was at the bus stop. This guy, out of fear, jumps up, he has a gun for whatever reason, and jumps up and shoots my friend 5 times. My friend survives. He's still alive to this day. But out of fear, this brother said, y'all ain't finna kill me. I'm gonna do y'all first. He went to jail for a very long time. And like I said in the beginning of this conversation, it's a whole lot of brothers in prison because of disrespect, because of feeling disrespectful. And I'm trying to multitask here, y'all. I'm getting text messages, and people are trying to come in. But you got to remember, I've got to say this too. In this space, there's only so many seats that I have that people want to participate can come in and talk about this. So if you want to come in, there's only like 10 spaces available for people to come in and sit on the seat and communicate and participate in this conversation. So please do if you want to. All right, back to the script. Back to the script. Here we go. I'm not answering no more questions right now until I get done with this. The next one was pain is the reason why some people crash out like that. And then the last one is old survival programming. You've been taught this, you've been bred this your whole life, and it's a part of your programming now. Now, many people from hood environments were taught a couple of phrases that I want to go over, and you let me know if one of these land with you. The first one is, if you don't react, you're a weak person. Meaning that if you don't stand up and do something for something that somebody even says to you, like, you're a weak person. That's some super hood stuff. But is that real? Does that make you weak because you didn't react to what somebody said? The next one is, if you don't defend disrespect immediately, you lose power. What power is that you're losing? I don't understand that. If you don't defend disrespect immediately, you lose power. With who? With other people around you? And no, who cares? The only power that needs to be respected is the Most High. Period. End of story. People are a byproduct of that. So you trying to defend power that doesn't really exist. This is the reason why, again, jail exists. Courtrooms exist. Because you think you have a power you don't have until you get in those cuffs and you realize you're powerless for real. All you have to do is make a better decision and you will be fine. The next one. If somebody says something crazy, you got to respond to it. If someone says something to you, you got to go on Facebook and or Instagram and make a whole video about what they said to you and how like social media is full of that right now. Anytime something happens, it's just a drama escapade everywhere. Look at the Jay-Z and Dame Dash situation. 2 grown 50-plus-year-old men back and forth battling over who said who shot John. Like, come on, y'all. If that ain't PTSD, I don't know what it is. But let me ask you this. But what if that mindset is actually a trap? And I think you probably know what the answer to that is already. Because when your emotions become easy to control, you become easy to control. Just think about it. You become easy to control. If another person can make you abandon your peace, your goals, your discipline, your future, your freedom, or your growth with only a few words, who's really in power in that moment? Is it you or is it them? That's why healing matters, y'all, because healing allows you to pause long enough to ask a different question. Am I truly being disrespected or am I being tested? Tested to see if I will react from old patterns. Tested to see if my ego still controls me. Tested to see if I've truly grown. Tested to see if I can choose peace over performance. I like that one. Peace over performance. Or tested to see if I can walk away without needing to prove myself. Whew, because y'all know what? Growth changes how you interpret conflict. When you're trying to grow, you have to think differently in moments of conflict. And that doesn't mean that you're always going to get it right because I'm a walking testimony. I'm not one of those people who teaches this stuff that acts like I got everything mastered. No one does. I've never seen that master. That master is somewhere in the middle of the jungles, picking mangoes off of trees, wearing the same clothes for 5 days, and not worried about a light bill or nothing. That person doesn't exist in a major city where all of this distraction exists. So I'm not really that person that says that I am perfect, but I do my best every day, every moment of the day. And I pray that I'm forgiven for the times that I fall short. But I'm still going to keep going. And that's all we can really do. The unhealed person sees attack everywhere. I had to laugh. Hold on. The unhealed person sees attack everywhere. The healing person sees opportunities for awareness. Glass half full, half empty. That's all that really means. So a person who's unhealed, they're going to see everything as a potential problem. They become Columbo. They know everything all of a sudden. They know how another person is thinking and what they meant by what they said, but never questioned what they said and why they thought that way to even say that. But they gonna tell you basically what you trying to tell me. Like they know what the hell you thinking. But see, a healed person is gonna do something different. A healing person is gonna do something different. They're gonna take an opportunity to get aware of something. So if something is done, no matter what it is, said or done to you by another person, a healing person is going to ask the right questions. They're going to be like, when you did that the other day, it really made me feel a certain way. And I didn't want to assume that that was your intention. Can you please do me a favor? Because I want to settle this energy and let me know what was going through your mind when that happened. Like, did you intentionally do that? Or was it just accidental? You didn't mean it? Like, what was it? What was that about? And get that other person's perspective. But before you ask their perspective, you got to be willing to accept their perspective and not create something in your own head. Because even when they say it to you, you're going to block it if you create something in your own head. You're trying to teeter-tot between or straddle the fence between the unhealed person and the healing person. You can't stand on both sides of the fence. You got to stand on one side. The unhealed person reacts, the healing person reflects. The unhealed person says, I got to show them. The healing person says, what is this moment trying to show me? You see, conflict comes about in our lives to teach us. Things that rub us the wrong way come about to give us a chance to heal something. But as long as you deflect it with this unhealed, disrespectful mindset, you never get to the problem and to fixing it. You keep telling yourself a narrative, it stays alive. You find a hit rap record that says the same thing that you already think, and you make them go platinum, and you keep the circle going. I don't mean to hurt you. I'm just here to share. But see, you know what? That type of shift changes everything, because many moments people call disrespect are really mirrors revealing emotions, fractures that still need healing. Now, why does that comment bother me so much? These are questions you should be asking yourself. Why does that comment bother me so much? Why does this stranger have access to my nervous system? Why do I feel the need to prove myself to people I don't even know? Social media. Like, why do I have to prove anything to you? Who are you? Are you God? Did you make me? Why do I feel emotionally threatened so quickly? Those are healing questions. Because crashing out has never produced any transformation. I've never seen a person crash out and get an epiphany in the middle of the crash out. Like, start seeing daisies and smelling the roses in the middle of a crash out. Like, that doesn't happen. Nobody grows from destroying themselves emotionally in public. Nobody evolves from uncontrolled reaction. Nobody rewires their life through emotional chaos. I hope they don't. All it does is reinforce destructive patterns that are already playing in your brain. Again, remember we said this person has access to your nervous system? That's what we meant. Because all it does really is reinforce destructive patterns. And repeat reactions eventually becomes your identity. So the more you repeat these concepts, they become your identity. Now I say repeat, that means that you do these things or say these things over and over. You listen to these things in music and listen to it over and over. You watch movies that highlight these concepts over and over. You're creating your own identity. But the identity is not real. You see, that's why many people remain trapped in cycles, same arguments, same fights, same emotional explosions, same regrets. Different day, different face, same pattern. People, I'm gonna go back to one of the things I said up top that we would lose, because this is one of my favorite topics is relationships. Because when it says different day, different face, different patterns, people will crash out on a person that they were in a relationship with because they refuse to try to understand where that person came from. They will crash out, separate themselves, cut them off, block them on the phone, block them on social media, never talk to them again because they felt that they disrespected them or did something wrong to them, but never saw it from their contact lenses. Never asked the questions, never investigated, never sat them down to see why that person made that decision at that moment. As if they were just crazy enough to just do something crazy out of the blue. But they leave that person and go to the next one just to experience it all over again. Why? Because they're in disrespect mode. They're not in healing mode. Because all that's going to happen is you're going to get the same person, the same place, same different face with the same issue. Because you haven't figured out that test that came, because it wasn't disrespect. It was a test that came. And that test came to show you something. You chose not to see the test. You chose to see the disrespect. Now disrespect eclipsed the test and the lesson that came for you. Now you're jumping from one person to the next, and you're about to experience, if you haven't already, experience the same exact thing that you experienced over here. I mean, stop me when I'm right, please. Whew. All right, we're almost to the tail end of this situation, y'all. Again, if you're liking this video, share it with the people on Facebook or YouTube land. Subscribe to the page. Become a member. Help us grow. Help us to grow this channel. Help us to grow this Reset Sundays. A healed person understands something powerful. Not every challenge is an attack. Sometimes it's literally an exam. An opportunity to prove yourself that your healing is real, that your peace is stronger than your ego, that your future matters more than your pride. Your future matters more than your pride. Because every time you refuse to crash out, you reclaim your authority over your life. Every time you make a decision to say, no, I'm not doing that, you create new nervous system neurological patterns that now you can change that previous identity with. The more you do it, the more you do it, literally. Every time you pause instead of reacting, you weaken the old programming. That's what we call rewiring. If you've been watching me for any amount of time, you probably heard of my Rewire program. This is what we're talking about. We're helping you to create new programs, new patterns, make different choices. I am practicing it even to this day. I just got off the phone with somebody today where I had to practice it. It's tough, man. It's not easy breaking old patterns. It's just not easy. I get it. But every day I'm tested with it. And as long as you're in a healing mindset, you're going to be tested. How do you know if you've grown if you don't get the test? We've all been in school, right? You go through a few weeks in school and you get some information, you take a test at the end of the week, eventually take a collective test to see how much you've actually learned. How far have you come? It's no different with life. There's no different with healing. It's the same thing. It's only coming from something higher than you and a teacher or a school district. Again, that's what we call rewiring, y'all. That's how the rewiring process works. So today's Reset Sunday question is this. I want you to stop and think. When this thing crosses your path, when that disrespect crosses your path, I want you to stop and think this one thing. Say it to yourself one time or 20 times, however many times it takes you to get the answer. Are you truly defending respect? Or are you defending unhealed pain? See, that calls for you to be accountable to your own stuff. That question requires you to be accountable. First, you got to know that you have pain deep down inside that you're trying to overcome. Secondly, you got to be able to recognize it in that moment by being able to pause. Why is this, y'all? Because some of the strongest people in the world are not the loudest. Strong people don't need to be loud. They know who they are already. They're the people who learn how to master themselves by taking those moments, doing self-reflections, taking self-inventory, not playing the victim all the time, learning what they need to learn about themselves and others as need be. Listen, y'all, this thing is not that complicated, but it is at the same time. In recap, The hood, and some people don't like this hood concept, but I get it. It's okay. But we can't deny there's not a hood out there. There's hoods out there. I came from one. I actually live in one. I see it every day. So when you come from those environments, there are concepts that comes out of those environments that some people are going to struggle with. Everybody's not going to struggle with that environment. Some people will be able to make it through, build a new life, change their life, change their work environment, and do things greatly, brilliantly throughout the rest of their life. But a lot of those people are not going. A lot of people are not going to be able to do that because mentally people are different. The thumbprints are different mentally. They're not going to be able to do certain things. Not saying that they can't. They're going to be seriously challenged to do things differently. Why? Because the neurological system is real. Whatever you've seen, it's going to play in your life. It's going to play in your head. It's going to play in your actions. This is why we do those things like check the rhyme, because if you listen to your music, it plays all these things every time you listen to a rap record. Nowadays, R&B. Then you go turn on a TV and then you see Power. Or any Tyler Perry movie. It's going to portray the things that you already think. You got to defend yourself. You got to be this big bad person. You can't let nobody say nothing about you without them getting checked. You got to play Columbo and try to figure out what somebody else knows, like you're God. You got a crystal ball for everybody's comment. Like, to me, I identify that person as a person that's refused to heal themselves because there's something inside of you making you do all of that. First of all, why do you have that much time on your hands? Look, y'all, in closing, if your emotions can be controlled by somebody else's actions, then your healing is still incomplete. I'm going to say it one more time for those people in the back who couldn't hear me. If your emotions can be controlled by somebody else's actions, then your healing is still incomplete. Listen, y'all, we're not asking you to be perfect. We're just asking you to work on perfection. It's a rough road to heal. It's a lonely road for healing. But at the same time, it's a possible road that can be conquered with the right tutelage, the right community, with the proper understanding of what it looks like to start the healing process. It's possible. I've healed some things. I'm still healing a lot of things. So this is what we created the Heal PTSD community around, to help others to come in and be able to put down this weight that they carry from the environments that they come from, the communities that they come from, the challenged communities that we come from. And I don't care if you are in the projects right now or living on top of the hill with 100 degrees, living your best life as you think. If you come from those environments, you're still affected to some degree, no matter where you are in life today. How you think, your abandonment issues are still there, your fearful issues are still there. Everything we named before, it's still there. It doesn't leave. Money and degrees and accolades and things can't erase that damage. It just doesn't. Until you actually address them, they're probably like, well, how do you address it? How do you even know it's there? Ask your spouse. Ask your family members about you. Ask the people closer to you how they experience you, and you will see what you need to deal with and heal. Listen, y'all. You're not being disrespected. You're just being tested at the end of the day. You do what you do with that. I hope that you guys get something from this Reset Sunday. Moving forward, your reset for the week. I want you to go through the rest of the week with us. It's a closing question that I asked. When something shows up in your life this week, ask yourself that question. I said it a few minutes ago. If your emotions can be controlled by somebody else's reactions, then your healing is incomplete. Second question you can ask yourself is simply the title of this particular Reset Sunday. I'll put it on the screen for you so you can see it. Are you being disrespected or tested? When somebody says something to you at work you don't like, ask yourself that question. When the person that you're interested in starts acting up, ask that question. Somebody cuts you off in traffic, ask yourself that question. Somebody says something sly that before you wouldn't let fly, ask yourself that question. Pause, take a minute, relax, breathe, let that energy pass, then come back to it, and then tell me if you still feel the same. That's how you reset. You have to pause. Let that feeling of anger or whatever it is pass through you. And once it passes through you, you come back to it and you address it. And tell me if you feel the same way when you address it. Now you can probably address it in the right way. Now you can actually ask yourself that question. Am I being disrespected or tested? But the big challenge is to be able to stop in the moment and not react immediately and just pause and just ask that question. And then let everything else kick in from there. I hope y'all dug this. If anybody wants to come in and have a discussion about this concept, now is the time. Click the link. And when you pop up, I will bring you into the conversation and we'll go from there. I think I have one person, Jules is down there. I'm gonna see if Jules want to have a conversation and bring Jules on.
Look at me. I'm in my Hugh Hefner robe this morning.
Wait, hold on. I couldn't hear what you said. I'm gonna have to get my earhead on one more time. Hold on. Like my head shrunk.
Elevated Awakenings, brother.
Oh, thank you. Same to you.
Elevated Awakenings. I said I'm in my Hugh Hefner attire here, and I decided I'll just be on camera. Who cares?
I hear you.
It's appropriate. Oh, yes. Brother, I've been over here making notes because, I appreciate you so much and the way that you say things. The first thing I wanted to tell you is I love this opportunity here to say the healed person responds this way, right? The unhealed person. And that's just, again, making it simple for our brains to grab onto, in my opinion. And that's why everything you've been talking about, you see the little notes I'm making over here in the chat. Because I have 35 years of clinical experience, as you know, working with humans as young as 2, as old as 87, families. And then I have 63 years of lived experience. And then I take that and simply say communication is the number one most important thing. And then nervous system regulation is the second in terms of any relationship. And this idea that you have, I've been a big fan of yours for a couple years. And to say it bluntly, what I've seen in my world is it is very rare for a melanated man to talk like this, do this, of what you're speaking to. Yes, very rare. And again, lived experience. I was married 35 years to a melanated man. And I've also been on 185 first dates in the last 10 years.
Yeah, you told me about that.
Right?
Yeah.
So, and my experience is 90% of those dates were what we're talking about. So this is why I appreciate you and getting the word out of just a better way to live.
Absolutely. I mean, again, as the title is on the screen right now, are you being disrespected or tested? Like, I came with this concept because I did a Minergy event a couple of weeks ago, and a lot of the brothers in there very defensive, very defensive. It was like, and one brother said something like he felt disrespected, and then from a scenario he went through, and I was looking at him like, man, you wasn't being disrespected, you were being tested, but you can't see the test unless you've been to class already.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like, if you don't go to class, you don't know what the test is because, you don't know what it is. But when you're going through class, I could see it because I've gone through class so many times, and I'm still trying to pass my own classes. Don't get me twisted. But at the same time, you can't see the Scantron if you ain't never been to a multiple choice bubble class or something. You just can't do that. And I had to ask him, bro, were you being tested or disrespected? He looked at me like, I never thought about it like that.
Yes.
Like, okay. So again, what am I being tested for? To make a different decision.
Yes.
To not judge a person from what you think it is, but to learn from that person's response, and so that you can learn something within yourself about you.
Yes. And I'm going to go back a little bit. The word respect. So that word has been used so much in my office, is I'm being disrespected. And I want my kids to respect me. And I want this. And I said, okay, give me the details of what that means. See, again, communication. What does respect mean to you? And I have seen many different answers to that.
Me too.
Yeah, nice.
Me too.
So
most people are willing to disrespect other people, but demand respect at the same time.
Say that again.
I said a lot of people are willing to disrespect other people while still demanding respect from other people, which is a very
and then sometimes I don't. This is why I'm saying I've told you I have autism. I sometimes don't know that I'm disrespecting someone because they haven't told me that they require these lists of items for respect. An example would be me using a cuss word. If I use a cuss word in passing and conversation, to that person, that might be disrespectful. In my world, it's not.
Me neither. I know the exact feeling.
Yeah.
Some people feel like you're cussing at them. No, I'm not cussing at you.
Right. No, it just happened to me last week too, brother.
But I'm gonna close this out so we can get out of here.
Yeah.
Again, you guys, if you want to get involved with what we got going on, if you want to learn more about this, and you want to be here every Sunday, we're gonna start doing them back again every Sunday. Share this with somebody else. On every social media platform, the handle is Heal PTHD. That's including YouTube. Subscribe to the YouTube page. Share the video. Dissect the video with other friends. Y'all have conversations about this stuff. The only way we share this, change this narrative, is we have the conversations and put it on the table. I mean, this concept works in any particular thing you may be faced with: relationships, work issues, friendships, like anything. It works in any scenario, because the biggest thing that we know is that divorce rates in our country are high. They're super high, particularly in our community. It's super high, and it's usually around respect. Why they're divorcing, rather, like it's usually around disrespect or respect. But when have we actually sat down to see where the other person is coming from and have empathy for that person's experiences and know that that person still loves you because they did something that was crazy? They don't mean that they don't love you. Maybe they don't know what respect is for you, and y'all haven't had that conversation. So you assume that they know what you mean.
And how does one regulate their nervous system?
Is that a question?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you regulate it by doing things different and creating new patterns.
Yeah, so giving specifics. How would I regulate my nervous system when somebody just said something where my breathing shallows, where my body gets tense, where I'm in that reactive mode?
Yeah. For me, here's what I kind of teach in some of my classes. Because again, I'm my own first student is myself. And again, I'm not playing perfect on this screen. I'm not one of those dudes. I'm one of those people who believe that everybody who has a podcast is not living that perfect life. So for me, my first thing is to give them a warning. Hey, listen, that doesn't make me feel so awesome. I don't like how you're doing that. I give you a couple of chances. If you pursue past that, now I go into, let me ask you a question. You heard me say that I didn't like this, right? Okay. What's making you still do that? Is everything okay? Is it something that I'm doing to you that's making you respond to me this way? If that doesn't work, I try to get an understanding of where they're coming from, period. Like what makes you think, what's inside of your mind or what's inside of your life experiences that has created this concept for you to feel like this is okay? I just want to understand so that way I can understand who and what I'm dealing with.
Okay.
My job is to change the reaction, the feeling. First of all, I gotta breathe for a minute and let it pass.
Okay, that's key right there.
I gotta breathe for a minute and let it pass.
Anchor that in. So taking a breath is one tool. Yeah. Got it.
Because anger, that heated feeling, you gotta let it pass. Because if you respond in those moments, you're not gonna say the right thing. So you gotta breathe and woosah for a minute. And then once you woosah for a minute, then you can go into some of those questions and investigate a little bit, depending on how serious the offense is. You investigate it, but you got to go into that investigative questioning moment with that person with an open mind. We're trying to understand where they are, not judging what you think where they are.
And in my world, that and having my body feel grounded. You see, like having my nervous system, because I didn't have these tools that I have now of the woosah, right? That woosah first, the breath, and then going within myself of, okay, my body is tense right now, or my stomach is in a knot, or my hands are clenched. So anything that'll come out of my mouth, if my body's in that state, might not make good conversation.
Yeah.
So I hear you. I that's why I think it's great to give people these specific tools of, okay, what can I grab onto? The other thing I heard you say is change the narrative in the head.
Yeah. Narratives are key.
Yeah.
Sometimes a narrative is a song.
Yeah. There's a narrative, like you said, an unhealed person views everything as an attack.
Yeah.
Through the lens of that. The healed person sees it as, oh, there might be an opportunity to learn something about myself or learn something new about that person.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well said.
Yeah. Thank you. Tony says sometimes understanding respect is cultural.
Yes.
I would love
Agreed.
to hear more about that, Tony, but yes, it is. It could be cultural, which means to me that there's no uniform concept of respect.
I've seen that. That's why I was naming that. It's very, my white community doesn't hardly ever talk about it.
Hmm.
We don't use that word hardly at all. Just from the experience I've had.
Mm-hmm. Use the disrespect word you talking about?
Yeah, using the word respect or disrespect has been more in the melanated communities that I work in.
Mm.
That term is used way more.
Mm.
I haven't heard it often.
Really? Okay.
In my white community.
So white people are not big on disrespect?
No, I haven't heard it.
Wow. Okay. Well, like I said, in the hood, respect is a badge of honor, so to speak.
Yeah.
It's a thing that we're taught from from a child. Like I remember when I got into a fight with a guy, and my mother thought that he got the best of me, and he said, "You better go back outside and fight him again. You ain't coming in here."
Oh my gosh.
So I had to go back outside, and I wound up beating him up at that point. But it's kind of how we were raised. It's like you're not going to allow yourself to be disrespected by somebody because you become the weak link.
Yeah.
So, and that concept kind of mushrooms into different areas of life, aspects of life, and it becomes like a mantra that you have as you go, and that mantra bleeds into personal relationships, everything. But that mantra does not carry weight as you get older because that same concept of me going back out to fight this dude, it's cool to be competitive, but when do you have to know how to turn it off? When do you know how to know when to do that and when not to do that if you've never been taught that? And everybody around you is on the same thing. Every song you hear is saying the same thing. Every movie you hear is saying the same thing. Everything in your household is saying the same thing. You don't know how to shift gears with that thing. So
yeah, one of the things I notice in our society is any sort of violence that is physical is not allowed. It's not allowed unless you're a parent doing it towards your child. Because you do that in school, you're going to get expelled.
Not in middle school, you won't.
Well, expelled or suspended or kicked out of that school eventually. If you do it in your relationship, your romantic relationship, somebody might go to jail.
Mm-hmm. You're going to lose someone that you probably actually truly love and care about. It's a lot of consequences to this whole crash out, disrespect thing. This is why we need to talk about it and help people to reset the concept of that. Like, if you truly want to heal from your environment, from where you came from, if you truly want to heal from that, and I understand and I get it, this is not for everybody. This is only for people who are seriously looking to change their life. If you come from the environment, what we call the hood, and you have been experiencing some things that have been redundant in your life that you're not that proud of, this is for you. This whole broadcast, Reset Sunday, PTHD is for you. If you're in the LA area, I would advise you to get involved with what we got going on. We are going to be having some classes and some sessions online coming up so that we can broaden the net and not just be so pigeonholed into Los Angeles, but we're going to broaden the net through some online things that we're going to be doing, workshops we got going on. If you want to know more about those things, please go to healptht.com, go to the event tab, and you'll see everything we got going on. and different courses that we have to offer. But if you're serious about that process, what was that?
I said, I want to highly recommend it because I've been.
Yeah.
I've been to your thing. I've been to your things, and I think I think you're a great role model and an example, a demonstration of being honest, like you are. The never perfection, but progress.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. I think that's the only way to heal is be honest with yourself. You're not shooting for perfection. You're shooting for correction.
Mm.
That's it. That's all we can do.
Yes.
But again, appreciate you, Jules, for coming in. Thank you, everybody, for watching. We'll be back next Sunday again. Tell a friend. Remember to subscribe to the page so that you can be notified as we go live. We'll be here every Sunday. As long as you have us, go to healphd.com. Get involved. Thank you, Jules. Thank you, everybody, for watching. We'll talk to y'all soon.
Thanks, Giselle. Ashe.
That's it.